You think Revelation is chaos? Be honest. Most people do. It's beasts, dragons, numbers, fire. Just this confusing blur that people either obsess over or avoid completely. But that's not what it is. And what comes next proves it. Because right after the opening, right after John sees Jesus in his full authority, Revelation doesn't jump into the end of the world. It gets personal, uncomfortably personal. It shifts from cosmic to direct, from global to individual, from what will happen to what is happening to you. Chapters 2 and 3, they're letters, not to governments, not to nations, to churches, real ones, in real cities, at a real moment in time. Places like Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, Laodicea. These weren't symbolic ideas floating in the clouds. These were communities full of people trying to follow God. People like us. And what Jesus says to them should make you uncomfortable. Because he's not vague, he's not soft, and he's not impressed just because they call themselves his. He walks into each church and he evaluates them. Not by what they claim, not by what they believe they are, but by what they actually are. To one church, he says, I know your deeds, your hard work, your perseverance. Sounds good. Until he follows it with, but I have this against you. You've lost your first love. Think about that. They were doing the right things, working, enduring, serving, and still something was missing. Not behavior, heart. Another church, he tells them they're suffering, poor, persecuted, and then says something strange. You are rich. Because from his perspective, faithfulness matters more than comfort. Then another, he warns them they're compromising, blending truth with culture, holding on to parts of him while letting other things creep in. Sound familiar? And then comes the one that hits the hardest. Laodicea, I know your deeds. You are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, I am about to spit you out of my mouth. That's not symbolic. That's not poetic exaggeration. That's rejection. And here's what makes it worse. They thought they were fine. We are rich. We have acquired wealth. We need nothing. That's what they said about themselves. And Jesus responds, you don't even realize you're wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, naked. That gap between how they saw themselves and how he saw them is terrifying. Because what if that's us? What if we've built an identity around being good, moral, Christian, and completely missed the reality of where we actually stand? What if we're busy but disconnected, confident but blind, religious but empty? That's the part nobody wants to sit with, because it forces a question we can't dodge. If Jesus walked into your life, not your words, not your beliefs, your actual life, what would he say? Would he commend you, correct you, warn you, reject you, or worse? Would you think you're fine while he's saying you're not? That's what Revelation is doing here. Before it ever talks about beasts or judgment, it confronts us. It holds up a mirror. And this is where it gets even more intense, because every single letter ends the same way. To the one who overcomes. Not the one who starts. Not to the one who claims. To the one who overcomes. This isn't passive. This isn't automatic. This is a call to endure, to remain, to stay faithful when it would be easier not to. And then, in the middle of all that correction, all that warning, there's something unexpected. Grace. In the letter to Laodicea, after everything he says, he doesn't walk away. He says, "Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in." That's not distant. That's not unreachable. That's personal. He's not just evaluating, he's inviting. Even to the ones getting it wrong. Even to the ones who don't realize how far off they are. And that's what hits me. Because it means this isn't about perfection. It's about response. Are we listening? Are we paying attention? Are we willing to actually see ourselves honestly instead of the version we've created? Or are we going to do what people always do with Revelation? Treat it like it's about something out there. Some distant future. Some abstract mystery. So we don't have to deal with what it's saying right now. Because this isn't about prophecy. It's confrontation. It forces us to face something uncomfortable. God doesn't see us the way we present ourselves. He sees what's real. And what's real is what matters. So before we ever get to the beasts, the judgments, the end of all things, Revelation asks something much harder. Where do you actually stand? Not where do you say you stand. Not where you think you stand. Where do you actually stand? Because the same voice that corrects is the same voice that calls you closer. What strikes me here is how easy it is to look right on the outside and still be off at the core. That tension, that gap between appearance and reality, it's uncomfortable. But maybe that's the point. Maybe we need to feel that instead of rushing past it. Because even in the warning, he doesn't shut the door. He knocks. That means there's still time to respond, still time to realign, still time to be honest about where we are and actually move toward him. You should feel lucky that you have that time. How much time is there? God, if there's anything in me that I'm not seeing clearly, bring it to the light. Not to condemn me, but to correct me. Give me the honesty to face it and the willingness to respond. Don't let me settle into comfort if I'm actually drifting. Keep me close to you, not just in words, but in truth. So be it. May the truth set us all free.